Guy? Hey, Guy.
I don't see you.
Dude, I think it's been like 4 weeks now.
What the? I was in there for 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, I gotta make a video. Hello! Do you want some?
No, I'm okay.
You don't want the water that's been sitting in my mug on my desk for like 5 weeks?
Ew, that's nasty.
Hello, champions. My name is Guy. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here and you want to become a champion too, go ahead, hit that freaking subscribe button and you'll get a pizza. Stay there. This big. Don't look at my belly. No, okay. His sensor bar. It's been a while, hasn't it? I had a very busy April and a lot of working hours, but we're back on the camera. I have my wonderful fiance, Olivia, one of my lovely viewers over on the Discord, link in the description. Earth over on my Discord recommended that I figure out who could beat Elmo in a 1v1 fight. Go follow them on Instagram. Here's their tag right here, Earthnound. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, Earthnound D. Why don't we figure out of the main characters in Sesame Street who would win in a fight? Not just who could beat Elmo. Let's see who would win in this entire fight. I've printed out some wonderful pictures right here, as well as got some character descriptions right here. We're gonna go through the 15 main characters of Sesame Street. It's been a long time since I watched Sesame Street, and some of these characters are new, and I didn't even watch it that much as a kid. But Olivia, on the other hand, she is a Muppet stan. Olivia, true or false? You wanted to be a puppeteer when you grew up.
I did so badly, like literally more than anything.
Needless to say, all that just to say, I have one of the most qualified people here with me to make this decision.
That you personally
That
know.
I personally
I would not
know.
say that I am the most qualified.
She is, why don't, we have a nice wall right here. Why don't we use this wall to make our predictions? Those are painted by my mom. Why don't we introduce our freaking characters, baby? Look at Zoe. Our first fighter, you know him, you love him. He's big, he's yellow, he's a bird. It's Big Bird.
Do you want me to be your tape dispenser?
Nah. Right on the wall. Big Bird. Big Bird is an 8'2", bright yellow anthropomorphic bird. He can roller skate, ice skate, dance, sing, write poetry, draw, and even ride a unicycle. He is prone to frequent misunderstandings and cannot fly. Next up, the green man himself, who's actually secretly orange but is covered in so much grime that he's green. Little Oscar the Grouch fact for you. Oscar the Grouch is a furry green grouch who lives in a trash can. Oscar's mission in life is to be as miserable and grouchy as possible and pass that feeling on to everyone else. Second character, and we run into our first, I guess, caveat. Does Oscar the Grouch get his trash can? What do we think?
I think yes, because that's what makes Oscar the Grouch. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Like,
if he didn't have his trash can, he'd just be a weird little guy.
yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, is Tony Stark still Iron Man without his suit? Yeah, but like in hand-to-hand combat, he's gonna have his Iron Man suit.
You make a valid point. All right, Oscar the Grouch gets his trash can. Biggity, 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 Bert. We got Bert from the show Sesame Street. Bert is a lemon-shaped man. He is serious, studious, detail-oriented, and organized. He enjoys reading boring stories, collecting paper clips and bottle caps, consuming oatmeal, and studying pigeons. You know, we got 15 fighters. Let's get through these. Let's mob. We got Ernie the man. Ernie is an orange, naive troublemaker. Ernie is silly, energetic. He enjoys board games, puzzles, healthy competition, attempting to learn instruments, and bubble baths. You know him. You love him. He was the rage of every 7th grader at my middle school. We have Cookie Monster. He is covered in blue fur and has an insatiable appetite. While his primary craving is cookies, he can, and often does, consume anything and everything, including, but not limited to, a brick wall, multiple safes, a 1973 Ford F-250 pickup truck, and the moon.
That's a man with goals.
Cons? He isn't the brightest cookie. Little joke from me to you. We got the little man himself. You could consider this man, this little guy, to be the face of Sesame Street. Elmo, of course. He's enthusiastic, cheerful, and imaginative. He's positive and curious and loves riding on his tricycle, being tickled, and wasabi. I don't know if you knew this, Elmo's favorite food is wasabi. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Elmo's favorite food is wasabi. He likes the spice. Next, freaking Zoe, bro.
She's so fun.
She's right there. Should I just tape this one to Zoe's head? I have a furry orange monster who is energetic, loves Rocco, and loves ballet. She is very similar to Elmo, but Zoe knows how to drive a car, although her car, the Zoe Mobile, is not registered with the Department of Motor Vehicles, which makes Zoe a criminal.
Oh, shit.
Next up, we got Rosita. Rosita is a turquoise monster who is bilingual. She speaks Spanish. She frequently plays guitar and is very good with history and geography. Rosita had wings. Next up, the self-described cute furry little monster. We have Grover.
Oh, I love Grover.
Grover is adventurous and hardworking and always up to a new challenge. He has worked at least 100 different jobs and thus has a very wide variety of skills. Now, in my research of these characters, I found something very interesting in regards to Grover. And that is that, do you know famous and well-known superhero Super Grover? I believe I have managed to deduce Super Grover's secret identity. I have it under reasonable suspicion that Super Grover is actually
Wow.
Grover.
Those are some bold claims.
You ever seen Super Grover and Grover in the same place?
Imagine if Peter Parker, instead of being called Spider-Man, just called himself Super Peter.
We have another character who can fly. Oh, I don't think I ever finished Rosita's. Rosita, she can glide, but not fly perfectly. She is learning to fly.
Okay.
So she can have moments, she can take off.
Like a baby bird.
Yes, but she can't like continuously fly, and she's not good with landings. All right? But Super Grover can fly effortlessly.
Ooh.
Next up, we got Count Von Count. Count Von Count is a mysterious vampire-like Muppet. He is technically a numerical vampire. From all the sources I was able to deduce, because all the sources are a little bit different, the Count has a personal cloud that hovers over his head and provides dramatic thunder and lightning. Can he use this to a combat advantage? He controls when it happens, but I don't think he can control where it hits. Another thing, he's not weak to sunlight. You know that I am Count the Count, because I really love to. Count Von Count is not a vampire. He does not have any of the vampire powers except for being spooky.
Which is inherently the most important power
That
of
you-
a vampire.
Yeah. So next, we have a character I have zero memory of, but has apparently been in the show for a long time and is apparently in the show all the time. We got little Prairie Dawn right here. What?
She looks so familiar.
So Prairie Dawn is a small pink Muppet, as you see. She is level-headed, detail-oriented, and efficient. She is known for writing and directing school pageants and wants to work in broadcasting or journalism. Prairie Dawn, you're going fucking down in this competition.
You are weak and spineless.
This is the other character that I was talking about where we might have to think along the lines of Oscar the Grouch of, is this a fair, like, is this allowed in combat? We have Abby Cadabby.
Abby Cadabby!
Right? Abby Cadabby has magical powers. She has the ability to pop in and out of thin air, float, transform things, and summon lightning. This one I don't know for sure, which is why we need to have this conversation, because it's likely that her wand is required for these powers. She's amazed with basic skills such as drawing letters and counting. Her parents are divorced. So, do Abby Cadabby's powers come from her wand? And if so, do we allow this wand in combat?
I would say both things, yes. Her powers, her abilities, and her magic wand are inherent to her character and who she is. Same thing like with Oscar the Grouch. The trash can is a core piece of his identity.
I agree with that. That's sound logic. Next, we got one character who is new. She was added, I believe, in 2016. We got little Julia right here.
Oh, little Julia.
Oh, little Julia. Julia is a bright yellow Muppet with red hair, and she is the first Muppet with autism, which is cool. Doesn't save her from these hands. She is energetic with a talent for art. She has great concentration and notices things others don't, which means she might have an edge in combat in the fact that she'll see weaknesses that people don't see in themselves. Next up, we have the two-headed monster, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Stick that little babies plural? Stick those babies right on the wall there.
The wall.
The two-headed monster is a purple monster with two heads. The heads often disagree with each other, but willingly work together towards solutions very well. They are not the brightest or the most observant, but they are problem solvers. And last but not least, we have one of the OGs of the Sesame Street series who went on to bigger and better things, becoming such an icon, but he's returned for one night only, just for this fight. We got Kermit the freaking Frog, dude. Kermit.
Confetti to be thrown.
I'll edit it in. We got Kermit the Frog, a true A-lister. Kermit is skilled with music, writing, and entertaining, and he's a natural leader. He's the de facto leader of the Muppets and possesses expert detective skills.
You better watch out, Batman.
Better watch the fuck out. We got our 15 characters here, and now it's time to decide which one of them would win in a Sesame Street fight. Hello, welcome back. We experienced some difficulties, so we're on the next. Now it's a different day, and we're gonna do this tournament style. Figure out who wins in a fight. 4 different matchings right there, and then we got 3 on this side, and whoever wins in that fight down there is gonna fight Elmo in the second round. Sound good? Because Elmo would survive the first round, obviously. I feel like first round is going to be instinct because you can take a look at the fighters and be like, all right, which one of these is going to win, right? We got Rosita versus Bert right here. Bert's a normal ass guy. Rosita's a monster. Rosita can kind of fly. Bert seems like he might be into some shady shit, but we have no canonical proof of that. So I think Rosita is going to be our victor here. Sorry, Bert.
You're going down.
Looks like you weren't... I didn't have a joke for that bit. I thought one would come to me. Next up, we got the CM himself, the Cookie Monster, versus Prairie Dawn. Is this even a fight?
No.
All right, dropping down, we got Abby Cadabby versus Ernie. Ernie. I just don't see this going to Ernie.
No,
I'm going to be so honest.
Not at all.
Abby Cadabby is a literal magic.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if there's any humans in this list, they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
They're gonna be pretty much the first to go. Yeah. Now I think we have the first interesting one of the
Yeah.
evening. Grover versus Big Bird,
Yeah.
right? Grover can clearly fly. Yeah. Big Bird's 8'2". That means Big Bird can pretty easily snatch him out of the air. Really, this one I can see going either way.
I feel like we've just got to give the edge to Grover. You know, he's got a lot of heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it takes guts to be a superhero.
And I really feel like Big Bird has an incredible reach, but a very low strength. All Grover has to do is manage to fly over Big Bird, get a hold of his beak in a way that Big Bird's not biting him, and then just like yank back.
Yeah.
And he's done.
Yeah.
We're giving this one to Super Grover.
Super Grover.
Count Von Count versus the two-headed monster. Count Von Count is kind of just a normal dude. Because, I mean, here's the thing. The Count can summon dramatic lightning.
Yeah.
As we discussed, that's a chance modifier that it would actually hit because he can't control the direction.
Yeah.
And even if the lightning struck the two-headed monster, it would only get one of them in that chance. And the other one would, I know that's not how lightning works, but in this scenario, there's still a monster to fight. I think we got to give it to the two-headed monster. Sorry, Zoe.
This ain't even a fair fight.
Sorry, Zoe. Oscar the Grouch versus Julia. As we've already said, pretty much any human in this list is going down immediately because they just don't have the special powers that the monsters have.
All he has to do is grab poor little Julia and just pull her in, and she stands no chance.
Yeah, like if Julia had a knife and stabbed him, I almost feel like the grime would just close the wound and act as a self-healing bandage.
Yeah, for real.
Oscar, you're moving on to round 2. We have 4 battle-effective pairings, I feel like. We got Cookie Monster versus Rosita right here. It's another, I feel like this might be the most cut and dry one of the bunch. Because Cookie Monster be eaten. Even if, okay, so let's just say for the sake, let's just say hypothetically, for the sake of the argument, Rosita can fly. That's the only advantage she would have. Yeah. Because she could stay out of reach of Cookie Monster pretty easily. Yeah. Her ability to speak Spanish is not going to help in this situation, gonna be honest, or play guitar. It might confuse him, but I don't see Cookie Monster as somebody who confusion stops him. Cut and dry, I think. I think Rosita would be able to avoid him pretty long, but I don't see any way she can defeat this monstrosity. Yeah. Or he could like
close his mouth some way, like with like a hole.
Oh, like an alligator? Well, Cookie Monster, you were moving on to the next round. This one I actually think is really interesting, and I was thinking ahead about this one while we were talking about this. Abby Cadabby versus Grover. Can she fly? Yeah, she can float. She can pop in and out of thin air, float, transform things, and summon lightning. Grover's a crafty bastard. Yeah. That's the problem, you know?
She's tiny.
She's little. See, I was gonna say if she was just a normal person in this size, he could pick her up and drop her. Mm-hmm. But she can teleport and float. Mm-hmm. And summon lightning. Again, is it similar to Count's? Does she have the ability to direct the lightning?
I think for her more so than Count. Because she's a practicing magician, whereas Count just seems to have the innate ability.
So that's a lightning rod on Grover's head right there. Yeah. So I feel like even if she couldn't completely control it, him flying around with a metal bucket on his head in the general vicinity of a lightning strike.
That's not really doing him any favors.
Now, if we had said that she couldn't have her wand,
I think then we would give it to Super Grover. But then I would say if she didn't have her wand, then I would say then we wouldn't have Super Grover.
Abby Cadabby?
You're moving on.
I'm so sorry. Over to this side, we got the two-headed monster versus Kermit T. Frog. Yeah. The two-headed monster is not the brightest. Yeah. But the thing is, the two heads work together really well. But Kermit is a master of mental manipulation. Yeah. He can turn the heads against each other.
Yeah, he totally could. Totally good.
So it's like, I see this as if it was just to be a non-psychological fight, the two-headed monster would just barely edge out. Only because Kermit would only be able to fight one and the other would be able to come in while he's fighting it. But because we're using the mind, I feel like it's clearly Kermit. I feel like he takes it.
Kermit's pretty springy. I feel like they'd be getting in each other's way trying to catch him. And he could probably like jump on top of them and get a hold of like each of their hair and like clonk each other together.
Kermit is fully moving on to the semifinals. Next, my friends, my lovely champions, we have two icons, Elmo versus Oscar the Grouch. This is almost the perfect matchup. Because while Elmo, I feel like would have his main strengths be in his attacks, he's very crafty. I feel like he can get in a lot of hits really quick without being hit. Oscar has the highest stats in defense, where maybe he can't attack as strongly, but he can take a beating. So, how do we see this going down? What's Elmo? I guess the thing is, if Oscar can barricade himself in his trash can, what is Elmo's move? Does he try to trap Oscar inside his own trash can?
Cut off his oxygen? Hell yeah.
That seems like a thing Elmo could and would do if he was trying to kill. Elmo's creative. And this is operating under the assumption that Oscar the Grouch's trash can is not a portal to Grouchland.
I think Elmo too is too smart to get lured into Oscar's trash can. I think he would be calling for Oscar to come out, and Oscar would not come out. You know?
Almost reverse psychology. He's taunting Oscar to come out of the trash can specifically so he won't.
Yeah.
He's staying in the trash can, and then Elmo can come up there with his tiny little fists, dent the lid into the side of the trash can, and create like a crimp that Oscar can't escape from.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing is, does Oscar have the strength required to bust out the side of his trash can? Because that's the thing. I think he might. He might have the strength, but then he's defenseless. Let's run through the scenario, all right?
Okay.
They're in a fight. Elmo is taunting Oscar to come out of his trash can and fight him like a monster. Oscar barricades himself in his trash can because he knows Elmo's scrappy. Elmo crimps the trash can lid, cutting off the oxygen supply. In a last-ditch effort, Oscar the Grouch busts through the side of his trash can and crawls out onto the fighting floor. Even though Oscar has that layer of grime, I don't think he has the ability, I don't think he would be able to kill Elmo. All right, Elmo, moving up to the big leagues. We're into the semifinals. We have Cookie Monster versus Abby Cadabby on the left. We have Kermit versus Elmo on the right. You have some thoughts.
I do.
Let me know.
I think Cookie Monster, you'd think he would win because he would just swallow little Abby Cadabby, but here's the thing. If she can she teleport outside of his body and rip a chasm?
Because with her teleport ability, she could avoid getting chewed.
Yeah.
Because that's Cookie Monster's advantage. He could swallow you whole and you'd be able to fight that.
Yeah.
But if he chews you, you're done.
Yeah.
But if she can teleport away from being chewed...
And she has the lightning.
To be fair, I feel like Cookie Monster getting struck by lightning would not affect him. Because if he can get a bite on her, she's so small that she's done with one bite.
Yeah, for sure. That's an instant kill.
So it's like, but she can teleport. Does she have to do anything special to teleport? Or can she just do it like in the blink of an eye? Or does she have to cast a spell?
I don't remember.
This is almost a standstill, I feel like. Because...
Should we flip a coin for this one?
Yeah, because I feel like she could avoid getting killed, but I don't think she could kill him. Before we flip a coin, that's the biggest question. Because I think at the moment in this scenario in my brain, I can't think of how she would kill him. Yeah. She could just avoid him. Yeah. Eventually she'd get tired and he could eat her. So
starve him.
She could couldn't Cookie Monster starve? Let's say Cookie Monster can go like 24 hours without eating. Okay? Just as a safe number. Could she avoid getting eaten by him for 24 hours? I'm going to flip a coin.
Okay.
If you have strong opinions about this, please let me know in the comments. Heads, Cookie Monster. Tails, Abby Cadabby. Are we ready?
Yep. Don't let it fall into the couch.
It's heads. That's a win for Cookie Monster.
Win for Cookie Monster.
All right, Cookie Monster's moving on to the finale by a hair.
By a hair.
Now we're on to the A-listers right here. Kermit versus Elmo? Are you kidding me?
Dang.
Who would have thought we'd get to this point right here? Elmo's crafty. Elmo's crafty. You gotta give him that. He's very creative. He's very crafty. But Kermit's been in the game a long time.
Yeah.
Kermit has the experience. Could Elmo out-creative Kermit's practiced abilities?
See, this one for me is also kind of a coin toss.
Yeah.
This
Well,
one for me.
Let's discuss. Come sit. New Kid on the Block versus King of the Streets. A classic underdog tale. Does he have the skills to beat the reigning champ?
Listen, again, this is Louisiana swamps versus Brooklyn streets.
So I guess let's think of it like this. What's their opener? When the fight starts, where does each character go? Zoe, you're so precious. Where does each character start?
I think Elmo tries to dish it out first, but Kermit judges Elmo, and his abilities, he's on defense mode.
He can read him. As Elmo's coming in, Kermit is reading his moves.
Yeah,
He's
totally.
figuring out what's making Elmo work.
Yeah.
Because Kermit knows people.
He's spotting his weaknesses.
He can wait for Elmo to dish it out, and Kermit's just like, as all the punches are flying by, and then in one fell swoop, just
Yeah.
if Elmo managed to land a really good hit on Kermit, how fast could he knock Kermit out? Because I feel like Kermit's been knocked unconscious in the movies before.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think Elmo's ever been knocked unconscious on screen.
That's true.
I think because Elmo's a monster, the monsters so far have been pretty categorized in the fact that they can take a beating.
Yeah.
Kermit's a little soft.
Kermit's a little slimy.
He's slippery. Elmo couldn't grab him. Oh, but Elmo has the fur, which would make it like that would almost negate the slime.
That's like Velcro.
Yeah, so it would almost negate the slime where it's just grabbing like a normal person. My heart is almost saying Kermit, but I feel like it's almost like a 60-40 thing. It's not like a definitive Kermit.
Yeah.
It's like a Kermit has more skill to be able to make this work in his favor, but it could easily spin. If he managed to like lose it, you know? Kermit's the master of psychological warfare too, and I feel like Elmo gets butthurt really easily.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, oh, he could totally, all he has to do is steal one of Elmo's jokes and God, Elmo flies off the handle.
Kermit could make Elmo lose his cool and then Elmo's not thinking anymore. He's just going, all right, Kermit, you're moving on to the finals, and our final, we got 2 A-list celebrities right here. Two that have been in from, was Cookie Monster from the start?
I believe so.
2 that have been in it from the start. We got 2 perfectly healthy, unbattle damaged candidates in their prime. And I almost feel like Kermit could get on Cookie Monster's back and choke him out.
Yeah, true.
I almost feel like that seems extraordinarily in character for Kermit.
And you know what Kermit could also do? Kermit would jump on his back, reach in little Cookie Monster's mouth, and like rip out his tongue or something.
If Kermit was to reach his hand in his mouth and get his arm bitten off, Kermit would keep fighting. Why was the final so easy? Everything up to this has been a fight, and then it became Cookie Monster versus Kermit.
And again, if Cookie Monster swallows Kermit, Kermit would fight his way out.
I feel like Kermit is spongy enough that like Cookie Monster would have a tough time actually taking a bite out of him, a sizable bite.
And I think Kermit would just slide right down his throat and then start beating the hell out of him from the inside.
If Kermit got into Cookie Monster's mouth, he'd understand that there's no way out. He'd just go for it and figure it out later. I think Kermit has won the Sesame Street duel. So there's your answer. Who would win in a Sesame Street fight? Kermit, the mother effing frog. Do we think anyone on this list could feasibly defeat Kermit the Frog?
Honestly, I don't think so.
I feel like, honestly, of the whole bunch, Oscar would stand the best chance. And I'm not saying he would win, but I feel like he would stand the most chance. Because I feel like Kermit doesn't have the most brute strength. He's not a very strong, like, physically character. Yeah. So I don't think he could crimp Oscar's trash can the same way Elmo could. You know what Kermit would do to Oscar? He would start playing music on his trash can, and that would force Oscar out of the trash can because Oscar wouldn't want the music. Kermit, master of psychological warfare. Because this one was a coin toss. Do you think Abby Cadabby could beat Kermit?
No.
If she could strike a lightning on him, I feel like that would take Kermit out. So there you have it. The winner of the Sesame Street fight, Kermit T.H.E. Frog.
Could it have been anyone else?
Could it have been anybody else? Count Von Count went out in the first round.
Yeah.
That's a little disappointing. But he's also just a normal, like, 50-year-old dude. Like, well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new here and you want to become a champion, hit the subscribe button and you'll get a pizza this big. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like. If you think someone you know will like this video, go ahead and send it to them. Sharing this video is the fastest and best way to help me grow. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace out. Bitch championses. According to the wiki, you should be ashamed of yourself and what you've done. Sorry.